We want to start on Capitol Hill. A couple of things developed in the past 24 hours.
It was a quiet night.
Yeah, it was not a quiet night. The power struggle on Capitol Hill is reaching extreme levels, both in the number of Republican filibusters and now in the way Democrats are dealing with it. Yesterday, the Senate approved a measure to block the minority's power to filibuster certain presidential nominees. The so-called nuclear option is the most significant change to the rules of the upper chamber since 1975. It barely passed with 52 votes. Through the 5 years of the Obama presidency, the Senate has held votes to end the filibuster 79 times. That's already more than double the amount during President Bush's 8 years in office. The Senate can now end the debate on executive and judicial nominees. There have been many blocks with a simple majority. However, the new rule does not apply to Supreme Court nominations or legislative bills, so it's fairly focused. While the move helps the Democrats right now, that may come back to haunt them because it won't always be the case. And yesterday, Majority Leader Harry Reid and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell debated the merits of the vote.
For the good of the United States of America, it's time to change. It's time to change the Senate before this institution becomes obsolete. You don't have to like the laws of the land, but you do have to respect those laws and acknowledge them and abide by them. Is the Senate working now? Can anyone say the Senate is working now? I don't think so.
I realize this sort of wishful thinking might appeal to the uninitiated newcomers in the Democratic Conference who served exactly 0 days in the minority. But the rest of you guys in the conference should know better. If you want to play games, set yet another precedent that you'll no doubt come to regret. Say to my friends on the other side of the aisle, you'll regret this, and you may regret it a lot sooner than you think.
President Obama defended Senate Democrats, hoping the measure would bypass some of the gridlock in Washington.
Now, I realize that neither party has been blameless for these tactics. They've developed over years, and it seems as if they've continually escalated. But today's pattern of obstruction, it just isn't normal. It's not what our founders envisioned. The vote today, I think, is an indication that a majority of senators believe, as I believe, that enough is enough. The American people deserve better than politicians who run for election telling them how terrible government is, and then devoting their time in elected office to trying to make government not work as often as possible.
Having said that, President Obama, Vice President Biden, and Senator Reid all opposed these types of tactics when their party was in the minority back in 2005.
What they don't expect is for one party, be it Republican or Democrat, to change the rules in the middle of the game so that they can make all the decisions while the other party is told to sit down and keep quiet. If the right of free and open debate is taken away from the minority party and the millions of Americans who ask us to be their voice, I fear that the already partisan atmosphere in Washington will be poisoned to the point where no one will be able to agree on anything.
And we should make no mistake, this nuclear option is ultimately an example of the arrogance of power. It is a fundamental power grab by the majority party, propelled by its extreme right and designed to change the reading of the Constitution.
The fact is, to move forward as contemplated by the majority is moving toward breaking the rules, to change the rules. That's improper. It will change the Senate forever. That's not good. But this is a slippery slope. Once you have a rule changed illegally, then you can do it again.
Well, that's one way to get the attention off Obamacare. But you know, I guess the argument, Joe, is that the number of nomination blocks for this administration by the Republicans has reached record proportions.
Well, they can make that argument, but if you listen to what they said when they were in the minority, this is a grave challenge to America's democracy as we know it. And as Barack Obama wisely said when he was senator in 2005 on that floor speech, if you already have a partisan environment and you bring out the nuclear option, then you're going to make a partisan environment all the more partisan. I will say this, for progressives that have said that this president doesn't play hardball, that he's not a bare-knuckled brawler, that he's not afraid to get down in the mud and be dirty and fight hard, which progressives have been saying for years, I think you can take that complaint about your president off the table, because here, think about it. The health care reform itself was passed by blowing up the filibuster. They couldn't go regular order in the Senate, so they blew it up to get this unpopular health care reform bill. The president over the past year has been unilaterally making one change after another without any approval from the United States Congress. Howard Dean even coming on this show suggesting he may not have the constitutional right to do that. And now the very judges who are going to be determining whether what he's doing in these changes, whether it's constitutional or not, they're only going to get through by a nuclear option. I mean, you look at the history of this presidency and look specifically how he has handled the messy rules of the Senate. I think historians are going to find it to be a breathtaking grab of power. Now, of course, they can blame Republicans too, but Koki, what I was always fascinated by when I was in Congress, and I would always turn to my Republican brothers and sisters, I said, you guys are acting like Republicans are going to be in charge for the rest of our lives. You do know that the way we treat them will be held against us when they get back in power. And I just wonder, Democrats employing this option, do they not know that 2014 is a pretty grim landscape right now for them?
Well, that was the point Mitch McConnell was making, and he says we need an election to fix this. Obviously, it's not good. Obviously, now it's done. Whoever becomes the majority is going to leave it this way because it's going to work for the majority, and so the rules have been forever changed. But look, in listening to those sound bites of then and now, it's clear where you stand depends on where you sit, and they are.
John McCain said that yesterday.
No, it's true. I mean, there's no consistency. I will tell you one thing historically, though, that is amusing.